This is my 2022 Porsche 718 Spyder, and these are 5 reasons why you may want to buy a 911 instead. But first, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I really appreciate you stopping by. If you want to know more about the 718 and the reasons why I chose it over a 911, make sure you check out the other videos on my channel. Eventually, I'm going to own both of them, but if you're in the market for only one, this video may help you narrow down your decision between a 718 or maybe the 911. So with that out of the way, let's get started with number 1 on the list, which is the interior design and technology inside. You see, the Porsche 911 has most of Porsche's newest technology in the interior. The infotainment systems, the gauge clusters, just the overall interior design is much more modern, and it features most of Porsche's newest switchgear, controls, buttons, like I said, the infotainment system. Whereas the 718 is kind of relied on Porsche's older tech. In fact, the interior on my 718 Spyder is really reminiscent of like the 2016 Spyder, that older generation 981 Porsche, which again is not bad, and it probably saves some money, which is why most of the 718s are significantly cheaper than 911s. But if it's something that you live with day to day and you have to have the newest tech, the newest sensors and radar cruise control and camera systems and all those things like that, check out Porsche's website and you can see a lot of the things on the interiors that the 911 has that the 718 doesn't. And just the overall design is much more sleek and modern on the 911s. That was not a big deal at all to me. The 911 interior looks great, I think, but I think so does the 718. There's kind of a nice simplicity to it. So if it's something you're gonna live with every day and you have to have the newest tech, get the 911. Moving on to number 2, which also involves the interior, is the fact that the 911, you can get 4 seats. That's just simply not an option with 718s, whether it's the Boxster or the Cayman. Those are 2-seat only cars. So if it's a car, again, that you drive every day, you're gonna use a ton. Not that the back seats are really all that practical, but they're there. The 911 has back seats should you need them. Even if you just use them for things like a backpack shelf, which is what I would use it for, it's really handy to have that extra space. You just simply don't get in the 718. So if carrying more than one extra person is something that you have to have, that by default is going to lean you towards the 911, period. So those first 2 reasons really lend itself to be a much better daily driver. Now, like I said, I own a Porsche 718 Spyder. This car is not a daily driver. I don't drive it that often. It is literally just a weekend, nice weather, fun car. I knew that going in. That's one of the reasons why I bought the car. That's the criteria and the type of driving I was gonna do. So that's one of the reasons why I swayed towards a 718. But if you decide to drive your car every day, between the interior technology, the interior design, and having extra seats, the practicality of a 911 is much, much better. And kind of in line with the practicality and daily driver focused nature of the 911 leads me to number 3, which is the fact that you can get all-wheel drive. That's something that you simply, again, you can't get on a Porsche 718, but there's a lot of the 911 models you can get. If you live in a snowy area of the country or part of the world, if you have to have that extra security of having all-wheel drive, then 911, again, is your only option. Now, the last 2 reasons don't have anything to do with practicality. They don't have anything to do with daily driving. I promise these are the fun reasons. But number 4 is the 911 is just simply faster. If you just want to buy the fastest car that Porsche makes, currently it's a 911. If you just want to have, again, the fastest off the showroom floor car, and again, money being no object here, the 911 versions are gonna be monstrously faster than the 718 versions. Even the cars like this, the 718 Spyder, the GT4, and even the GT4 RS, those are fantastic cars, and they're not necessarily slow. They're not really that crazy fast. They can't hold a candle to something like a Turbo S. If you're just talking about 0 to 60 times, drag racing, roll racing, just outright speed, a 911 Turbo is in a different league than any of the 718s. Now again, they cost a lot more, but if you have really deep pocketbooks and all you're focused on is just going as fast as you can, the 911 is gonna have the trim models that you want to do that. And even the lower trim models, if you like to modify your car, those cars, even the base Carreras and Carrera S's have the turbocharged flat 6s, whereas the 718 base models have turbocharged flat 4s. The flat 6s in the 911 Carreras and Carrera S's are going to be able to be tuned more to get more power out of them, you know, from the get-go, since they're already a turbocharged 6-cylinder as opposed to the turbocharged 4. None of that was really all that relevant to me. I don't really care how fast the cars are. These cars I already know are not that fast, not in the grand scheme of things. I just wanted the good driving experience and the best driving experience. And so that's one of the reasons why I chose this naturally aspirated version. But again, if fast is your thing, 911 is the way to go. And speaking of fast, one of the biggest reasons I think you should buy a 911 over a 718 is if you are lucky enough to get an allocation for a GT3. If you can walk into a Porsche dealership and they offer you a 911 GT3 or any 718, take the 911 GT3. That's one of the reasons too why I went with the 718 Spyder GT4 platform, is because, you know, those really upper echelon 911s are in this current market and outside this market, but particularly in this market, you just can't get them. The waiting list is too long, and if you're not a well-established Porsche customer, you just can't get one. You can buy one secondhand for $100,000+ over MSRP, but I didn't want to do that. I got this car at MSRP, so I'm really happy with this car, but had I been given the opportunity to buy a GT3, I would have done that. So if you're in that position where you can pull some strings and get something like a GT3 or a GT3 RS or one of those really exclusive 911 versions, that would be one reason why I would pick it over a 718. You can get one of those special ones. Now, that pretty much wraps up the reasons why I have, but make sure you comment down below which car you would have. Would you pick a 718 or would you pick a 911? And the reasons why. Let me know in the comments down below. Again, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I really appreciate you stopping by. If you enjoyed it, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you guys in the next one.